Hi guys, welcome back to Escape 3. There is another spot I'd like to show you, and it's one that I didn't include in the tour of the downtown area, which is a shame because it's a really fun place to skate. And this is it. I don't know if this place has a specific name. I don't really think so. I could be wrong. If you know that I prefer the more technical skating, I think it's pretty easy to see why I like this place so much. It has a lot of manual pads and just weird constructions. Been trying to get a new trick down, or a new, I don't know if it's a trick or a combo necessarily. Thing is, I need a fairly low obstacle to do it on. Yeah, that was it. I don't know exactly what it's called. Maybe, I don't know, a 270 tail slide, or I don't know. I'm not really up to date about all the skate trick terminology. This is actually the second take of this video, because in the first take there was a pretty noticeable issue with the audio caused by my slightly falling apart mic stand, because it has a typical mic stand feature with an extendable arm that you can pivot up or down. Sorry if this makes no sense whatsoever. The hinge, or the wheel that's supposed to lock the pivot hinge into place, is kind of broken. I think I ruined the thread on it, or I stripped the thread, I think is the correct word. So if I have the arm fully extended, which is how I usually have it, the weight of my little digital recorder is enough to slowly cause the arm to droop, and that just made a constant quiet but audible ticking noise, which was not very pleasant to listen to for minutes at a time. and I had to keep bringing the arm back up because after 5 minutes it was 6 inches lower than where it started off. So anyway, yesterday was a pretty fun day. Well, the day as a whole was pretty standard, but I had another bass student since the last time, or I had one about half a year ago. I think I mentioned this in some video, I don't know which one, but I had one student about half a year ago who wanted to learn how to play bass, but I think he wasn't very impressed with my teaching method or teaching skills, which are severely lacking as it is. And it wasn't a very pleasant experience for me either, because for some reason it was just very stressful, and I had no idea how to teach him anything in a clear manner. So shortly after that one lesson, I kind of gave up on teaching. Meaning I removed all the ads I put up. I think I put up about 5 or 6 ads on different websites. Like Craigslist type websites. But in Belgium. And yeah, I removed all of those except one, as it turned out. I seem to have missed one, because last week I got a phone call from a person who wanted to learn how to play bass and saw my one remaining ad. And actually at first I said I wasn't teaching anymore. That's what I said on the phone, but shortly after the phone call I changed my mind and sent her texts that I would be willing to teach. Because if I'm really honest, there's really no reason for me not to teach, because I like to think I'm definitely capable enough on bass to pass along some knowledge and just basic techniques, and maybe a few more advanced techniques. And I kind of felt guilty for refusing refusing the girl. So I changed my mind, and yesterday was the first time she came over for a lesson. And it turned out to be really not as bad as I remembered it to be. Of course it was a little bit awkward at first, but that's to be expected when you're awkward in general, which I am. And if you're just meeting someone for the first time. It's always a little bit of a search until you get comfortable. And by the end of the lesson was a lot better already, so it'll only improve in the next few lessons. And it was nice to hear that when the lesson was over, she immediately wanted to set a new date or a new appointment. Date sounds kind of wrong, and it's definitely not a date. My main problem, or the main thing I struggle with when teaching, is that I'm not particularly good at explaining something clearly the first time. I tend to rephrase a lot of what I say, which is something you most likely have noticed in these videos as well. And as a teacher, that's not the best quality. And also, it's not really easy for me to know when I'm giving too much information or when I'm going too fast about a certain topic. So for now, I think I'm just going to stick to that one student until I have more confidence in my method of teaching, and when I know I can just explain things more properly. And I don't really want to burden myself with too much stress of having several different students every week. Because obviously you have to keep track of what they're learning at any one time, and their individual needs and tempo of learning. All this being said, I still think I'd rather teach base than do a standard 9-to-5 job. Although teaching most likely wouldn't pay very well. Certainly not at first. Because I made a quick calculation and came to the conclusion that if I wanted to earn as much as my girlfriend does, she has a normal 9-to-5 job. And if I wanted to earn as much as she does, I would have to have 5 students every day. Which is kinda unrealistic. Not that it's completely undoable, but it just takes a while to get more students. But I'm considering it. That's very different from a few months ago when I just didn't want to teach at all. Maybe it's a bit mean to even think this, but I sometimes wish that I would be able to pick my own students, like people I naturally get along with, or at least people that don't make me very uncomfortable. And preferably students that already have some basic concept of music and or bass specifically. Because that girl I had over yesterday, she told me in email that she was starting from scratch, which is always the most, for me at least, the most stressful situation, because you're really, again, I wouldn't know where to start if someone's never held a bass before, so to speak. But actually when she got here, she could already play the, what was that? She could already play the minor pentatonic. And, you know, she could play notes. That's a good sign. And she's involved with music in some way, because her boyfriend, I think, plays in a band. So she's familiar with music, and that really helps a lot. And she has decent timing for just starting out. So I'm really looking forward to teaching her, because I have the feeling that I'll never have to spend weeks on the same topic, and that she's not making any progress, because then most likely I would feel bad about myself, because I'd feel like I'd be doing something wrong. Sorry if you can hear the bell tower in the background. She mainly wants to play punk, but I'm kind of hoping she'll be willing to learn some other genres as well. Because punk is cool, but as far as teaching it goes, it's not particularly exciting, or, you know, it's usually not very bass-centric music, which is fine, but I don't know. Punk is also not really my my, how do I say this? There are lots of other genres I like better than punk. But I mean, if all she ever wants to play is punk, then that's fine, of course. I don't want to sound like a music snob. For now, she's mainly playing with the pick, but I feel like it's best to teach her how to play with her fingers as well. Because it's not really that much more difficult. And it's kind of a basic thing to know. It's just to play with your fingers to some extent. Because there will inevitably be situations where she won't have a plectrum handy, or she'll drop it on stage or whatever, and then you can't just pause and stop playing. I mean, pause and stop playing to pick up the plectrum. I want to do a dark slide on this bench, but it's not exactly working out. That's good enough. I missed a few flips, but that was basically what I wanted to do. Okay, before this video gets too lengthy, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.